I was recently on Andrew Huberman's podcast, right? One of the most successful podcasts besides yours in the world. And I don't want to, it's going to sound like bragging, but the book mastery helped him a lot because he was a professor, I believe, at Stanford. I hope I have it right. Everything was going well. He was on a fast track in neuroscience, but he was miserable. He hated the politicking. He hated all the bullshit that you have to go through in academia. And then he read the book and he goes, I don't know how old he was. He must have been in his early 30s. He goes, I don't want to do this. I want to change. I want to recreate myself. He decided to go into podcasting and to take all of his knowledge about science and neuroscience and bring it into a different medium. And so that's extremely powerful because if he had stayed in academia, he would have gone down the path that we're talking about. It sounds a little sexier than being in finance and you're 47, but being stuck in academia when it doesn't fit you with all the nasty politics that go on in universities, et cetera, that is a path for misery if he doesn't fit. So you have to kind of go through this process all the time and not let other people tell you who you are. Because if you're moderately discontented with your job, you're going to constantly be justifying it to yourself going, it's all right, it'll get better. There'll be a new boss, or I can always move from this job to another company similar. You'll justify, you'll never get out of it. And the trap will just close in on you and you'll never get out of it, right? It's those moments where, damn it, I hate this. I can't go on. You know, I'm heading to suicide. I'm heading to depression. I'm heading to drinking. I'm hitting bottom. I don't like where I'm going. It doesn't have to be quite so drastic. I know I'm exaggerating, but you have to feel a degree of pain and frustration to say, I need to make a major change in my life. You know, I'm a big believer in listening to your own pain and listening to your own frustration. So when you feel frustrated in life, you have to go through a process. You have to look at it and you have to go, what is the source of it? Normally, the first thing you'll do is you'll blame other people. You'll blame the world. You'll blame your spouse, your children, whatever, right? And you won't really look at what it is, why you're frustrated. And if you look at it deeply enough and you go, I'm really frustrated because I'm not enjoying my work. I'm making money. I'm going there every day and I'm going through the motions and I'm successful and people admire me, but I'm not happy. I'm frustrated. I'm upset. You've got to lean into that pain. You've got to lean into what frustrates you and go, I can't go on another 5 years like this because the mind and the body are tied in. There's no difference. We're all one. We're all a unity. And so when you start having these frustrations, these desires that you're not acting upon, it creates physical problems. You're not aware of why suddenly your blood pressure is rising. It's all interconnected. And when you're not doing something that you're not engaged with, your whole being goes out of whack. Everything doesn't work. You've got to listen to it. You've got to understand it. And you've got to go, I want some joy and some excitement in my life. I want a challenge. It takes some fearlessness because leaving a prestigious job at Stanford, where you've got money, I don't know if he had tenure or not, or perhaps he did. You know, it takes some guts because you're leaving something that's a convention, that's stable, et cetera, et cetera. But you've got to go, it's not worth the price. It's not who I am. I'm going to suffer for it down the road. And so, you know, let's say he decided to go into podcasting and it failed. All right, so be it. Then he learns that and he's somebody who's very smart. He would have figured out another way, another direction to go in. In the same book you were quoting in about warfare, I have what's called the death ground strategy, where you feel like, so he's going into podcasting. And if you go in with the attitude, well, if I fail, I'll just go scurrying back to Stanford. That's a recipe for failure in itself already. Your attitude is already half-assed. You're already half into it. You go to yourself, I'm cutting my ties at Stanford. If this podcast doesn't work, I'm not going back. It gives you the energy, the motivation, the desire to actually make it successful. But if you're always going through life kind of with half measures going, Well, if I start this business and it fails, I'll go back to living with my parents and I'll do this other job. You're not going to put your full energy into it. You're not going to give all of yourself into it, and it's probably going to fail. But you've got to try. You've got to be able to try, and you've got to go say yourself, it's actually a great thing in your 30s, let's say, to go, I need something new. I need something completely different. I need a new challenge. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to start something. You won't believe the energy that will suddenly rise up in you, right? You'll suddenly feel invigorated. You suddenly feel youthful again. I'm not stuck in this thing. I can try something else.